Well, I hope everybody has been saving their shekels because the MTG tax collectors are back. And you know what? It's kind of a bummer because Edge of Eternities hasn't even got to shine. And I know I'm holding an Edge of Eternities booster box, but I promise we're here to talk about Spider-Man. So for those of you that made it into the first 20 seconds of the video and you realize that we are going to talk about Spider-Man, we're going to get into some spoilers, congratulations, you still have an attention span. Edge of Eternities hasn't even really been given a chance to come out. Right now, it's the 23rd. We just got some Spider-Man spoilers. Everybody is already on the Spider-Man train. The cool space opera set, and we opened this collector booster box. We found some really cool cards. There are people that are obviously opening like pre-orders of this stuff. There's people that are opening over on, Rip and Ship and all these different spots. They're getting their Edge of Eternities cards. But before the set can even hit pre-release, it's not even at pre-release yet, we are already moving on to Spider-Man. And this is kind of like what's happened with Magic the Gathering. I want to share before we get into the spoilers how I feel about it. So this video is going to be in two parts. We're going to talk about MTG in this current state of feeling like, man, I got to keep up. Like over there's a box on the couch. It's right here. These are all my Sonic secret layers. I haven't really got to enjoy those yet. This just kind of speaks to all of it. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about kind of like the state of MTG, how I feel about it, and then we're going to talk about these amazing new spoilers. So make sure to stick around to the end if you want to get all the information. I just want to say thank you to our patrons really quick. Big thank you to all of our channel patrons that power the channel through Patreon. You're wonderful, you're lovely, you have great names, and you better give me a hug the next time I see you. Martishius Magic is sponsored by Card Conduit, the best spot that you can go to sell your cards quickly and easily on the internet. Take your unused singles that are 50 cents or more, send them to Card Conduit. Card Conduit is going to use the best buy lists to make sure that you get the most for your collection. Choose between one of 3 different services depending on the amount of pre-work that you want to do. Use our code MartyMagic to save 10% on your fees when you check out. Card Conduit, the best and easiest way to sell your singles on the internet. And also thank you to Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield is a wonderful way to protect your cards. The best sleeves in the multiverse. I've been using them since 2009, and I am not going to change. Sometimes change is good, but when it comes to your Magic the Gathering sleeves, just like a good pizza dough, you want that pizza dough to be the same every time. You don't want to switch up the dough and try to get a better crunch on your pizza. I know that this isn't making a lot of sense, but like seriously, you would not go to the same pizza place over and over and over again if you didn't know what kind of dough you were going to get. Dragon Shield has consistently good sleeves, and I love them. All right, now let's talk about product fatigue. So first part of this video, I want to talk about how often I am buying Magic the Gathering cards. I'm buying the Secret Lair. I'm getting Edge of Eternities. Thankfully, this is an ambassador product. I was sent this because I'm an MTG ambassador, so it's very cool getting to look at that. We found some really cool stuff in this box. I love outer space. Space is great, but space is not selling at the same, ferocity, at the same velocity that stuff like Final Fantasy is and stuff like Spider-Man is. And this isn't new. This isn't the kind of thing where you're like, oh, Jake, you're complaining about the fact that, as this set is releasing, a new set is coming out. No, I'm just kind of calling attention to it because this is something that I've seen more and more and more. I just want to share kind of how some of my friends were feeling about it earlier today. And they're just like, man, the Spider-Man cards look good, but I feel like this might be a pass for me. I don't know if I'm going to pass on Spider-Man. I am not the kind of person that loves every Marvel movie just because it's Marvel. I like good movies when they're good. If a movie is bad, I don't like it. So for example, all the Thors except for like one of them were pretty forgettable. Like Doctor Strange, I had zero expectations when I went in to see that movie, and that movie ended up being great. I go to some of these movies and I really like them, and then I watch some of them like Eternals and I like fall asleep. So I don't just like Marvel by default, but I do think that Spider-Man is very cool. I've really enjoyed those recent movies. The animated ones are just, man, they're fantastic. They're beautiful. Like just amazing movies with really good stories, really good art style. It's stuff that I really enjoy. So I'm not surprised that people are excited about Spider-Man. What bums me out is that a cool set like this with like a really neat design, we have all new kind of stuff like Station. It's just kind of like already old hat and the set isn't even out. So I get it. Like, the stuff has already been sold to distributors. Distributors are getting it to local game stores. Local game stores have their pre-orders in. People are doing it. There's going to be a pre-release. But the set hasn't even had its 15 minutes of fame yet. It hasn't even really got to live. And I remember a day when Magic the Gathering used to be, on like block schedule, where you would go out and you would like really get to enjoy the full set. And I'm not saying we need to go back to block, but it was like when I first started playing, you had Zendikar, then Worldwake, then Rise of Eldrazi, then you had Scars of Mirrodin, Mirrodin Besieged, you had New Phyrexia, and so on. It was like this kind of thing where like, if you got to a set like Gatecrash, you could take a break. And that's probably what Hasbro hates, right? Is they don't want a Gatecrash. If there is a Gatecrash, you want to just move on to the next set, and it's like, okay, the frequency of this stuff at this point, I don't think is going away. We're just going to be in this endless kind of like product after product after product, skip what you want. But I watch some of these streams. I see some of these whales. The same people, when I go over and watch one of the most popular streamers, I watch, Lance and Queen Honey and the gang over there at Rip and Ship, which is a fantastic spot that you can go to get an early idea of what a product is like. I highly recommend that channel. Really good channel. When I go over there, the same people are buying like 5 collector booster boxes on like a stream. On a single stream, someone goes in there and they get 5 boxes worth of this stuff. So if I'm skipping a set, if you're skipping a set, that's not really like a big deal to Wizards of the Coast. For them, they depend on these whales because I feel like these people at this point are like addicted. They're just like, I have to have more. And it doesn't matter if I call attention to it. It's not going away. You can have 1 million comments in a video that are like, I'm done. I've seen it. I've been doing YouTube since 2017. I've seen every single comment that you can absolutely imagine on videos. I'm done with this set. Oh, this set was it. This is the nail in the coffin for me. Magic is done for me. Magic is dead. Magic is not dead. It's so far from dead. If this is dead, Magic is, literally in its like peak right now. And it's not even close to being done. You have like freaking Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy. You have Spider-Man. You have whatever other big IPs are about to come out. Avatar. Stuff that we don't even know about is cooking right now. There are going to be so many universes beyond IPs. We just had a conference call. There's so much MTG news. Chris Cox was delivering, news on, I think, women make up 30% of the game. They want to get that number up. So they're looking at IPs that might appeal to women more. So like the universes beyond kind of thing, that's not going away. Magic is the Fortnite of card games. It is the blob of card games. It is just going to absorb this IP after this IP after this IP, and it is going to be like, oh yeah, that character is in that card game. Magic the Gathering started out as this kind of like, almost like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of game. Like everything in it was like fantasy. There's a lot of MTG purists that kind of hate where the game is right now. But you know what? They can scream at the sky. They can go pound sand. It doesn't really matter what they want anymore because we are where we are. So we live in the collector box era where there's a collector box with every set. We live in the this era of product after product after product. I'm not trying to diminish what's going on with Spider-Man. I just wish that we had like 2 more weeks to breathe before it even came out. Like at least give Edge of Eternities an opportunity to come out before we start getting the spoilers. We got Comic-Con. There's an Avatar spoiler that's going to be at Comic-Con that people want to go get. Everyone is trying to get every single Magic the Gathering thing. I want to share a little bit about what my friends were talking about earlier today. They're saying, like this set looks cool, but it's a skip for me. I'm not going to go nearly as hard at Spider-Man as I did with Final Fantasy. The Pokemon problem is becoming MTG's problem. Not excited about a single one of these Spider-Man cards. Call me when Miles is spoiled and we'll talk. I'll probably snag a bundle and call it a day. This is not going to drive me to the point of irresponsibility like Final Fantasy did. And I have obvious ties to the IP. This is one of my friends who actually works at Marvel saying this, which is interesting. I hate that every god dang card in this set is called Spider-Man. One of my friends says it's one of the most annoying Universes Beyond sets in my opinion. Nothing stands out more than neon spandex characters. So, not naming any names, but these are just, I have an MTG group text, as I'm sure many of you do. I think some of their frustration is coming from the fact that this is a set that is coming out so frequently, like right after Edge of Eternities, which came out right after Final Fantasy. And I know we have another Secret Lair product that's on the horizon. Every single month, They're trying to get us to spend money on Magic the Gathering. And it seems like they're trying to get us to a point where it's like every couple weeks they're trying to get us to spend money on Magic the Gathering. So I will say this, not financial advice. Obviously, adhere to your budget. I say not financial advice, but this is me trying to tell you it's okay to miss sets. It's okay to not be a completionist with this kind of stuff. We've hit an absolute threshold of product where there's so much coming out. At this point, if I bring more Magic the Gathering stuff into my apartment, I'm just not going to have room for things. The camera right here is not pointed over there. And if it was, you'd be like, dang, this guy has an issue and he needs to get some stuff taken care of. I definitely do not see any of this going away. As soon as Spider-Man gets done, we're going to have Final Fantasy again coming at the end of the year, and we're going to get special edition boxes or something. There's going to be some sort of special edition product, and we're going to keep seeing this. You know, when you have an epic crossover like Final Fantasy, they're going to do the same thing as Lord of the Rings. So these booster boxes, you know, you get a set like this where you can get a booster box for like $250 or $300. The conditioning that comes from having sets like Final Fantasy that show us collector booster boxes that start out at $640 and really quickly go to $1,200. Sets like those make it to where when you get a booster box of something like this that's like, you know, $275 or $300, you're like, whoa, what a deal. When $275 or $300, when these first came out, or however much they were, I think collector boxes were like maybe like $200 or $250. As somebody who knows better than me, when Throne of Eldraine came out and we first got collector boxes, and it wasn't that special edition collector thing that everybody made fun of, what were the prices of collector packs when they first came out? I feel like it was like 20 a pack. You know, a pack of Edge of Eternities is going to end up being like 35 or 40. You know, a pack of Final Fantasy started at like 50 and then it quickly went to 100. There's people that pay, you know, 110 or like 120 for a collector pack of Final Fantasy. These booster boxes that are like $1,000. Literally, I said this earlier today, but you have Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. That's going to be a console-only kind of thing at first. I'm so sick of all the planes that have to fly over. It's like whenever I make a video, every single plane is like, it's time to land. GTA 6 is going to come out. You have to play that on console. They're not going to put it on PC first. So like, you know, people are like, oh no, I can't spend, you know, $500 on a Xbox Series X for that. Well, if you're a Magic the Gathering player, you could buy, you know, with the amount that people spend on Magic products, you know, just speaking for myself and other people, you could buy like freaking 10 Xbox Series X's by the end of the year. And that's a system that's going to last you 5 years, you know, 10 years. You're going to be able to like play any video game that you want on it until the next gen system comes out. You know, I said 10 years, but at least like 5 years. You know, spending $500 on Magic the Gathering, you know, over 5 years, it's like, oh, that's pennies. You know, like a secret layer comes out and the bundle comes out and you have everybody trying to get every single thing in the bundle. When Spider-Man boxes come out, and Spider-Man pre-sale boxes, I saw they're already like $600 for a collector box of Spider-Man. I won't be surprised if a collector box of Spider-Man goes to $1,000 or $1,200. Once we see if there's a serialized card, once we start to see all of the premium variants, and then we know how many people love Spider-Man, it's just this cycle of conditioning where it's like, okay, you know, the $1,200 box of cards that came out in 2025, that seems absurd. And if you had said that to people a few years ago, oh yeah, collector boxes are going to be $1,000, people would have laughed at you. They would have been like, no. But since Lord of the Rings Special Edition, with all of the poster cards that came out, Special Holiday Edition, those foils, serialized cards, this combining of IPs, we are just ramping up the profit. It just is going up. I've heard it before, you know, people say, is Magic a bubble? Like if it pops, what's going to happen? If everybody decided to sell their Magic the Gathering cards all at the same time, there would be a fallout unlike anything that you could possibly imagine. If for some reason the game fell through and everybody tried to get rid of their stuff, it would all go to pennies in a moment. This game depends on the people that buy it. There are more cards than ever being printed. I don't have the actual chart that shows, you know, the frequency increase, but when you look at old Magic compared to new Magic, we are releasing so much more than has ever existed. I've been long-winded. I'm sorry for all of that, but you can skip this part of the video. I know it just sounds like me ranting. Man, you know, I kind of feel bad for old Edge of Eternities. Or new Edge of Eternities. I feel bad for Edge of Eternities that hasn't even released yet. Poor Edge of Eternities. But yeah, let's look at some new Spider-Man cards. All right, so this is the first one that we had spoiled today, and this is a cool card. I'll go ahead and read all of these. Origin of Spider-Man. This is the first one that I saw today. We're going to go through all of them that I saw. 1 and a white, as this saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3. So on the first lore counter, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. So we get a 2/1 for 2. These sagas are very good, man. Sagas, you make this 1 mana investment, and then you just get all this residual value over a few turns before the thing is sacrificed. It's very good. So we get a 2/1 spider, and then we get to put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It becomes a legendary spider hero in addition to its other types. Okay, so we have kind of like the origin of Spider-Man. They should name the card that. Oh, wait! They did. Target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn, and then this saga goes away. So pretty cool. You get a 2/1, then you get a 1/1 counter on something, and then something is going to get double strike until end of turn, all for 1 and a white. Pretty cool little card here. Let me know what you think about it. Then we saw our first mythic here, Peter Parker. And I'm sorry for the quality on these. These were saved from my phone, but I feel like it does what it needs to do. Another 1 and a white. Okay, so mono white, I feel like that's, you know, good for Spider-Man, but obviously we do see Bant down here. So if you build a deck around Peter Parker, you are going to be able to do green, white, and blue. Legendary creature, human scientist hero. When Peter Parker enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Okay, so that kind of reminds me of what we just saw here. 1, a green, a white, and a blue. Transform Peter Parker. Activate only as a sorcery. Now let me show you one of the best Joda cards I have ever seen. Amazing Spider-Man. 1, a green, a white, and a blue. Vigilance, reach. This is what the card we were just looking at flips into. If that is not clear from the bottom there, you can see the 0/1 creature. That's what we were just looking at. Vigilance, reach, 4/4. Each legendary spell you cast that's 1 or more colors has web slinging. So I would absolutely put this in Joda. This card absolutely shines in Joda. What is web slinging? You may cast a spell for its web slinging cost if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. So you're returning something to your hand, possibly something with like a really good enters the battlefield ability so that you can do it again. And then you're getting a reduced cost. So you're going to pay a green, a white, and a blue to cast a legendary spell. So everything in Joda is pretty much legendary. It's a legendary matters kind of deck. This card I think is S tier in there. There's like really good ETBs in Joda decks. My Joda deck is a SpongeBob Universes Beyond deck, but for people with more refined lists that aren't just trying to meme on people, you're going to get even better value. So I think this card is very good. It's nice to get a first look at what Spider-Man is going to be. And then we also had a variant of this card spoiled. So this is the same Peter Parker that we just saw. 1 and a white, Peter Parker enters, created 2/1 green. But this is like kind of like obviously a comic book kind of look. It transforms into what we just saw, and then this is what it transforms into. Spider-Man #1, you can see this is the same art that is on the very first appearance of Spider-Man from Fantastic Four, 12 cents. Amazing Spider-Man. You have all the Fantastic Four characters here. This is really, really, really cool that they stayed true to the original art. I'm sure that there's people that are just going to go absolutely crazy for this variant. I don't blame them, especially the super fans that just can't help themselves. For anybody who is a Spider-Man stan, like this is your thing, this set is for you. You are about to feast. I like Marvel. I like Spider-Man, but I in no way am somebody that I would consider to be a super fan. But for the super fans, I'm hyped for you. I think that this is really cool. When they finally make an Aliens or a Predator or a Terminator secret layer or set, I think they would only be a secret layer. I don't think there's enough lore to make an entire set around Alien, Terminator, or Predator. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to dig into what I want. This is about Spider-Man. Let's move on to the next thing. We have Spider piloted by Penny. So Penny Parker here, 3, a white, and a blue. Legendary artifact creature, Spider hero. Vigilance. When Spider enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. When a modified creature you control dies, when a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So this is a pretty fun little card. You get a 4/4 for 5. I think it's a fun Mendicant Core card. When a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I think it's cool. I think it's definitely something that you can build around, and I think it's a fun little card. And this is also an uncommon for what it's worth, but neat art on there. I think it looks nice. And this is kind of like what my buddy was saying. It's like every single card in this set is named Spider-Man because we have like the kind of like Spider-Verse thing going on here, and you're going to see in a second even more of what I'm talking about. A blue and a red, Spider-Man 2099, legendary creature, spider-human hero. From the future, you can't cast Spider-Man 2099 during your first, second, or third turns of the game. It's really cool to see this effect come back. We saw this on a Planeswalker on Jace from Thunder Junction. So you can't cast it on your first, second, or third turns, but you do get a double striking Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, if you've played a land or cast a spell this turn from anywhere other than your hand, Spider-Man 2099 deals damage equal its power to any target. So this is a fun and interesting rare. Having that restriction, not being able to cast it on your first, second, or third turn of the game, is interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. And then we do have Spider-Ham. So we have another Spider-Man card. I'm sure some of you recognize this if you watch the Spider-Verse. Peter Porker, one in a green, legendary creature, Spider Boar Hero. When Spider-Ham enters, create a food token. Okay, that makes sense. And Animal Mayhem. Other spiders, boars, bats, bears, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. So very interesting card here. It is a lord for a lot of creature types that are relevant and some that are less relevant. Stuff like raccoons. If you were really into Bloomburrow, you probably really like Peter Porker. Let me know what you think of this card. A 2/2 for 2 with a lot of upside. The evolution of the bear in MTG is just absurd these days. You have a 2/2 for 2, it comes in, makes a food token, and it's also a lord for a ton of random creature types. And then we have Spider-Man Noir. So 4 and a black for a spider-human hero, menace. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, put a 1/1 counter on it. Then surveil X, where X is the number of counters on it. So surveil is look at the top X cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest on top of your library in any order. So this is a very fair kind of card. Keep in mind that this set is going to be standard legal, which is a pretty big deal. This is a set where it can't be too pushed, because when a set is standard legal, what does that mean? It means it's modern legal. It means it's legacy legal. It means like you can't have like a Modern Horizons kind of feel to it. So it's like when you look at Final Fantasy, for example, a lot of the cards in Final Fantasy, the power level of them is toned down. Like a lot of the success of this set is coming from the fact that this is a set that is jam-packed full of stuff that people love. A lot of the success of this set is coming from the IP. I think that they look cool. I think that there's some fun stuff. I think there's some strong stuff. I think that Peter Parker is insane in Joda. It's definitely a card that's going to go in there because it's going to add a lot of heat to that deck. I love having a Universes Beyond deck. I think it's silly. Just every single card. There's stuff from Walking Dead in there. There's stuff from Doctor Who. There's stuff from, Marvel, Final Fantasy, and so on. Just so many different IPs are in that deck. And whenever a new set like this comes out, I definitely scour it for some of my favorites. Let me know what you think and leave it in the description of the video. All these names that are going by are our patrons at the $10 level or higher. These people go the extra mile and support the channel at a $10 level. I really appreciate all of them so much. I hope that you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, make sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you back in the future. All right, talk to you later.